What on earth is going on with Blackpink right now?
For anyone that's seen the videos online, yes, I can confirm that the members are pretty weak here. It is the concert equivalent to "Here, Now, Shut Up."
Okay, fine. Are we doing this? Cool. You're fine, walk it off.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Lauren. I do come to my channel whenever I can. So, Blackpink, as we all know, they're on tour, and it seems to be that every single time a new tour date happens, it seems to be that there's always some discourse online. So that's what we're going to talk about. I want to cover the tour, I want to cover their new song, and also the resurgence of the Lazy Jenny allegations that are coming up once again. So yeah, before we get started, please don't send any hate to anybody mentioned in this video. Purpose of this video is just to talk about it, give our opinions, and overall have a nice and respectful conversation in the comments below. So without further ado, let's get into the video. For context, because I can already hear people telling me like, oh, you don't even listen to Blackpink, you don't even know them like that, like why are you making content on them, you're just hopping on the bandwagon of hate. No, hold up. So I got into Blackpink in 2018. They were actually my first introduction into K-pop. I remember in like 8th grade, these two girls on my dance team were doing a like cover to Do Do Do, and that song got me into Blackpink and K-pop, and that was actually the first song I learned like the cover of. So yeah, I've been there since like 2 years after they debuted, and I've seen a lot of discourse that has always happened. I wouldn't consider myself a Blink. I always considered myself a fan just because I'm not a big fan on stan culture. I feel like it gets very parasocial very quickly. I feel like stan culture is very toxic, especially among K-pop fans.
Perfect example right here. Blink sent death threats to Wonhee because she liked Twice.
And I feel like it makes it so that you really can't hold any member accountable for stuff. For example, with Blackpink, when the leaked video of them during their trainee days, when it was Lisa, Rose, and Jenny all saying the N-word in like their songs and stuff that they were doing for their trainee days, and people were saying, oh, like they don't have to apologize for anything, like that was 10 years ago. It's still wrong, and a lot of them knew English, so I feel like, you know, it's really, yeah, that's why I don't really like stan culture. Blackpink is no stranger to controversy, criticism, whatever. They've had it since the beginning, whether it's the cultural appropriation accusations they've had with their members, to controversial moments in their music videos that they had to change, to them constantly going on hiatus after dropping like 1 or 2 songs, and then they go on hiatus for a long time. And then also the Jenny accusations that she's YG's princess and that she's a lazy dancer and she gets away with a lot of stuff. So Blackpink is no stranger to controversy and criticism, that's for sure. And I feel like Blinks can agree with me on that. So starting off with their tour, I feel like their tour has been like the topic of conversation because, you know, they're Blackpink. And I think like, I don't know, I find this kind of funny. Every time a group says they're gonna go on a world tour or whatever, it's always a couple of areas in the US, a couple of areas in Europe, a couple of areas in Asia, and maybe like 1 or 2 spots in Mexico, particularly Mexico City, and that's the world tour. I always find that so funny, I don't know why. Their tour has just started, and it seems like every single place they go, there's always like a new clip that's being talked about online. Like I know that like last week or something, that there was a clip of Jenny that was trending on Twitter of her kind of seemingly yelling at like the like stage people like who were trying to help tie her shoe, and she was like going like this and seemingly yelling at them. I think that was taken a little bit out of proportion by the internet, because, you know, it's not a quiet place. She's trying to get them to, like, you know, hear her and stuff, to tell them, like, you know, how to, like, fix it and stuff. I don't think she was necessarily being rude. I personally don't think so. I strongly believe YG made these girls come onto the tour because, you know, the girls are all doing their solo events, their solo endeavors, and now they're all back together and stuff. And it seems like they don't really, like, enjoy doing their older songs. Like, you see all the energy in, like, the new song Jump and, like, also their solo stuff, but, like, doing their older songs, they don't really seem energized. And I guess how I look at it is, like, you know, it's kind of unfair to the fans, and people can disagree with me on this, but it's kind of unfair to the fans, you know, these people who have supported you since you all were Blackpink. Like, without Blackpink, you all wouldn't have been in your solo careers. You all wouldn't have had the fan base you had when you started your solo career. So, you know, I feel like that's something, they had 3 years of a hiatus to get their things together and, like, you know, practice and whatever. And if they didn't give them the time to practice, you know, I feel like that's also mainly on YG for not giving them the practice time. Overall, I just think it's kind of unfair to the fans that, you know, here a lot of them paid really good money to see these girls. They're not really touring on a lot of locations. So, you know, you had to get lucky. You had to have gotten lucky to see Blackpink. And, you know, they're on hiatus, like, a lot of the time. Last time they went on tour was, like, in 2022 for Born Pink. And yeah, no, I just think these fans are the reason your solo stuff has been successful, because they had a strong fan base with Blackpink, and that's why it's helped so much for these girls to have their solo endeavors. I guess that's just the bare minimum. At least look like you want to be there for the people who have supported you since the beginning. That's how I look at this. So now moving on to Jump. I personally love the song. I think if there's been a hate for the song, I think it's just because of the allegations for, like, AI and, like, CGI and whatever, all that stuff. I personally thought it was a really good song. I thought the dance was really good, and I'm waiting for that dance practice. You have no idea. It seems like the girls really enjoy doing the song, but I do understand the issue that, you know, these girls come back from a hiatus just to drop one song. One song. Blinks have to be the most dedicated and loyal fan base, because literally these girls go on hiatus a lot of the time, and I don't blame them. I blame YG more or less. I blame them mainly. You know, and then they release one song when they come back from their 3-year hiatus, and they're kind of, like, making excuses in the book for why the girls are not performing, like, up to the standards that other K-pop groups perform. And it's like, y'all have to be, like, you know, the most dedicated fans. Like, if the devil works hard, Blinks work harder, because, oh my goodness, they're always so quick to defend the girls, to come up and, like, you know, come at anyone who, like, attacks them. And please don't come for me. I'm not attacking them. But overall, I just think, like, you know, they have to be the most dedicated fan base to, like, be okay with that. You know what I mean? Now, the main thing I did want to talk about was the Lazy Jennie allegations. So there was a clip from their recent concert that was going around of Jennie seemingly standing there during do, and she was, like, trying to fix her mic, but she's just standing there and then turns, and she's kind of not doing anything but just trying to fix her mic. I'm gonna call it what it is. I think it was unprofessional. And before any of y'all get after me, I have a dance background, in case none of y'all know that. I've done dance. I did ballet, tap, jazz, lyrical hip hop. I did that for 14 years. I stopped doing that when I graduated high school. And then I've still been dancing. I'm a part of my university's K-pop dance cover team. And I've been doing that since I was a freshman. So I've been dancing in total for about 16, 17 years. So the main thing you're told as a performer, like whether it's dance or like any type of thing, when you're on a stage, if you mess up, you keep going. If you have a malfunction, whether it's you drop something, like a costume piece falls, whatever, you keep dancing, you don't stop. And these girls are trained in that. Like, they not only have Blackpink, have they been doing this for close to a decade. These girls had like training time, like they were all trainees, and that's like the first thing that they push for all of them. And honestly, I just think that that's very, very unprofessional. And the thing is also, especially to any new like Jennie fans, Blackpink fans, whatever, Jennie has had these allegations for a long time. She's had them since like 2017, 2018, because there were moments where she would do the exact same thing. It just gets kind of tiring that the same behavior is still happening like almost a decade later. I guess my question to the Blinks is, don't you get tired of that? To be honest, like the not doing the work, like all the other girls seemingly are like doing the dance, maybe not like full out, but they're doing the dance. And you know, you have other K-pop idols who have had similar incidents and they still keep going full out. Like Manon, for example, from Cat's Eye, she like her mic thing came off of her like back pocket and she was like still dancing while having to fix that. Jennie could have easily just been doing the other arm, like, you know, like dun, 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 oh yeah, dun, dun, dun. You know what I mean? So like, I feel like it's just an excuse at this point to keep saying, oh, it was because of her mic, this and that. It's unprofessional. It really is. As a performer, I strongly think it's unprofessional. And I think you could just call it out like that. It's not hating. It's not any of that, especially since it's been a problem for a long time. It's not hating to call it out. And I think also it's not just Jennie's fault. I do think YG has a lot of blame to put, because they allowed for it to go on so long, if that makes sense. Because it's been an issue since back then. And even YG, back then in like 2019, whatever, when people were calling Jennie out for this, YG would like copyright claim and copyright strike anybody who made a video criticizing like her like lazy dancing and stuff. YG does have some blame for this, because for the longest time they have allowed for this to happen. And this kind of goes into like the rumors of like Jennie being YG's princess and whatever, because people were accusing her of like getting away with things that, like, you know, the other idols couldn't do. For example, the lazy dancing, the alleged dating rumors she had with Kai, and like just a bunch of things like that, as well as like brand sponsorships that the other members didn't have. And then at the height of all of this, YG gave Jennie the first solo, which was Solo. And a lot of people, it was bad, y'all. It was bad back then. But anyways, my point is that like regarding the dancing in particular, it's been 10 years. I think, you know, you should have worked on that already by now. And people, of course, were calling out, okay, how come she suddenly can't dance during the group performances, but has all the energy during the solo performances? Which they do have a point. They do have a point, and I will go there because I remember that being like a big thing during 2022 during the concerts and whatever, that the same conversation happened. And when Coachella happened and they had like Pinkchella, that everybody was like, oh, all of a sudden Jennie's doing good on the group performances for Coachella because her celebrity friends are in the audience. And I'm like, ooh, you kind of have a point. Jennie has talked about her stamina because she has said that she has stamina issues in the past. And I understand that. I completely do. But I also want to preface one thing. Jennie also vapes. And that's not a bad thing inherently. Like, you know, I think she's a grown woman. She can do what she wants and whatever. I do, however, understand that South Korea does frown upon drugs and vaping and everything like that. But, like, I guess looking at it from a US standpoint, she's pushing 30. She can do whatever she wants. And I don't think it's anyone's business if she wants to smoke or not. However, vaping, smoking, whatever, that like will mess up your breathing. It will mess up your lungs. So it makes it harder for you to have that stamina and that breathing for when you're performing and when you're singing and all that stuff. So that's one thing. And I want to say that that's not hate or whatever. That's literal facts. Like you're smoking, doing drugs and stuff like that will mess you up for breathing, dancing, whatever. And yeah, so if she's continuing to vape, that's on her. She can make that choice. She's an adult. But your stamina is not going to get better if you keep vaping and smoking and everything like that. You know what I mean? But I don't know. I guess how I look at it is you have performers like Tate McRae. Tate McRae, she's a damn good dancer. And you have to admit that. Like anybody who has never seen her perform, I think she's a damn good performer. And she has asthma. Like Tate McRae has asthma, and she can still put on a very good performance, singing, dancing, and everything. And you know, that's how I look at it also. Like I don't mean to compare these two amazing women, but you know, dance wise, like you can do it. Like if you can do it for your solo stuff, you can do it for the group stuff too. I just don't think it's fair to the fans to not be dancing and just standing there when you're having a malfunction, when you can still like at least do the hand movement with the other hand. Overall, how I look at it is she's been doing this for close to 10 years. She's had these allegations for also close to 10 years. For these 3 years like of hiatus stuff and whatever, she could have worked on that, and I get if she's still working on it, but just standing there during like a mic malfunction, that's no excuse. And even so, without that being an issue that's happening with her mic, she still continues to stand there and like not put in as much energy as the other girls are doing. I personally don't find it an issue to call out unprofessionalism. Like, especially because like, I don't mean to say this, but it is their job. They were trained to do this since a young age. And at this point in time, it's been, like I said, close to 10 years since these allegations have been happening. So you're telling me that you couldn't have worked on this, like your concert presence and your performance over the past 10 years? That's how I look at it. Overall, guys, this was my opinion on the whole thing. I think that she can work on it. If her stamina is the issue, like what she says it is, I think she can work on it, but she does need to cut the vaping out. Like, that's just a literal fact. You need to cut the vaping out in order to help build your stamina. So overall, I hope these girls are doing good. I hope they're having fun on tour. And like I said, their solo endeavors have been good, but it's really nice to see them again. And I just wish we got another song. That's all I'm saying. But anyways, no, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share, and comment down below what else you guys want me to talk about on my channel. I don't really talk about K-pop on here. I want to though, because I am involved in like some type of K-pop stuff with my club. So like I really want to bring it onto YouTube as well. So anyways though, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys next time on my channel. Bye guys.